Join us tonight as we go behind the scenes to find out what it takes to bring one episode of The Garage Comedian to light.
The Garage Comedian.
It's a beautiful day for a joke. Hello and welcome to this special behind-the-scenes look at The Garage Comedian. My son Barrett thought it might be a fun idea to take you behind the scenes to show you what goes into a production. And we'll start things off with a trivia question. How many hours go into one 5 to 7 minute episode of The Garage Comedian? Is it A, 5 to 7 hours, B, 8 to 12 hours, C, 14 to 18 hours, or D, 20 to 25 hours? The answer is D, 20 to 25 hours. I'd say I spend between 8 and 12 hours writing, then another 90 minutes shooting, and then I spend about 10 more hours back here editing. And each week starts the same. An idea will hit me at any random time, sometimes in the middle of the night, which is why I keep my phone nearby, so I can add to my notes or sometimes do a voice memo, and then I can work on that thought or idea a little later in the day. Or at nighttime, I spend a lot of time on my couch in the twilight hours just working on my bits and refining them to try to get them to flow. Oftentimes, I'll take my notepad with me when I go out for walks as well, so I'm always working on my bits trying to get them down for when filming day comes. And I use 3 cameras when I shoot. The main camera is a Sony 4K, that's the head-on shot. Then I have a Canon Rebel T3i, and then finally I have a GoPro, and I just throw that all over the garage. I have this Joby tripod, it's great. I can wrap it around things, so I get lots of great angles with that one. As far as audio goes, I use a Lewitt Interviewer omnidirectional dynamic microphone, and that plugs into the Sony transmitter on the bottom, which sends the signal back to the receiver, which is attached to the Sony 4K camera. So I do shoot in 4K with the Sony camera and also the GoPro, though I upload to YouTube in 1080, and the reason for that is threefold. One, most devices out there still can't support 4K, so people really aren't missing out on the quality level there. Number 2, when it comes to the product itself, most people aren't tuning in for the production quality. It's more the quality of the product itself as far as what I'm telling for jokes. Like, I'll go back and watch Mitch Hedberg or Sam Kinison or George Carlin bits. I don't care about the production. I care about the content and what they're saying. So realistically, someone's not going to come back to my work years from now and be critiquing that it wasn't in 4K, it was in 1080. And then the last thing is when I jump in and out from those cuts and I scale in and I zoom in tight, I don't lose any quality level. Usually you would lose quality level when you come in and out like that, but with so many pixels at 4K, when I zoom in, I don't lose any quality. So it works out well for me there as well. Okay, so now we've written our material for the week. We shot it out in the garage. All that's left now is to download the footage off the 3 cameras into the Final Cut Pro 10 editing software behind me. And this editing software is a godsend. Years ago when I was a sports producer for the 10 o'clock news, we used to edit footage and we put it onto a beta tape. So if you had 8 stories that night, you had a stack of 8 beta tapes. This is all linear, so it's just all dragging and dropping. It's great, it's so easy. In fact, I'm gonna show it to you right now. Hop on in with me. Let's go into the deep end together. So there you can see all the footage that I'm scrolling through. I imported all of the camera angles. Of course, we had the 3 of them between the Sony and the Canon and the GoPro. And it's so easy to use. You just drag and drop it right into the timeline and then you're good to go. You can shorten the clip by just pulling on it like that. You can use a blade tool also if you want to just chop a piece off and delete it that way. You can even detach the audio and have a separate track independent of the clip. Now on this portion of the timeline, you'll see how it's layered. The bottom level is the camera 1 from the Sony, where I get all my audio from, and then above that, you'll see the different cameras from both the Canon and the GoPro. And you can see how easy it is. You just put it on top, and then it'll just cut right to that camera angle. Color grading is another important part of the production, and click, there you go. That's the one I usually use. I like that. I bought a plugin called MLUT, which has a number of templates available where you can just click on and go. It saves you time. So if you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different ones. You can scroll through and it just changes the color. So here's another Game of Thrones is this one. I always use Whiplash though. That's my favorite one. Then if I need to zoom in, I can just change the scale like that. Final Cut Pro 10 also has a great many number of title templates at your disposal that you can use for any number of reasons. I already used a title earlier today when I was putting a question out there about how many hours it takes to put a production together. I've used a lot of these before. They're just so easy to drag and drop. Everything's just dragging and dropping. Let's see what we got here. You can put this right over top the clip and you'll see how easy this is. Boom, there it is. Just like that. Easy peasy, right? In addition to titles, they also have these great generators that are preloaded, like the clouds you could see there. We've got bubbles. This one's called Fabric. I'm using this for next week's production called Recalls. You can see you can mess around with the different fabric underneath it. There's different styles and linens. I'm going with linen 4. I think that makes the pencil pop. This will make sense to you guys next Monday. I also need to create a thumbnail, and that's extremely important as that's the first thing people see when they're going to determine if they want to click on your video and watch it. So I'll take a still image from one of the video moments, and then I'll bring it into my software, and I'll do this little smart lasso. So I'll lasso myself as such. Just like that. Not too hard. Have to have a steady hand like operation. All right, then you go ahead and invert that, cut around. And okay, you can see I still got a little bit of work to do, so let me just do that work real quick and then fast forward. There you go. So that's what it looks like when it's done after I clean it up a bit. Then I go ahead and I bring in the image to one of the templates I already have and I had already created previously. And then there's 2 Davids. Why are there 2 Davids in there? Well, you'll find out in a moment. See, I like to layer it. I put a little glow behind me with different colors. I kind of like that. So it's not quite fitting. I might have to blow that up just a little bit here. It's good enough for now. I can mess with that later. Then I gotta go ahead and put a title. The next Monday's episode is called Recalls. So let's go ahead and label that. And I use a chalk duster font type. Let's hit that. Let's increase the size. And there we go. There's my thumbnail. I'm looking fantastic. And that's going to bring us to the end of this behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to bring one episode of The Garage Comedian to life. I certainly hope you enjoyed it, and now you can see what a labor of love it is, but as Britney Spears once said, there are 2 types of people in this world, those who entertain and those who observe. And well, baby, I'm a put-on-a-show kind of girl. I'll see you kids in the garage. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more funny videos like this, click the subscribe button. New episodes launch each Monday. The more you know.